What would you do if you knew you only had 48 hours to live? A chilling question, isn't it? But it was the reality for a man in our narrative today, a man of wealth and influence. This is the tale of the rich man and death. One day, without warning, death came knocking at the rich man's door. Not a metaphorical knock, but a real, tangible one. The rich man, startled and trembling, confronted death, pleading, "I'm not ready to die yet." Death, cold and unyielding, insisted on entering his room, a silent intruder in the space once thought safe. But death, in a surprising act of mercy, granted the rich man a respite. 48 hours, 2 days to prepare for the inevitable. And then, as suddenly as it appeared, death vanished, leaving the rich man alone with his thoughts and the ticking clock. Now imagine being in the rich man's shoes, with the sands of time slipping through your fingers. Every second becomes precious, each moment a potential memory. What would you do? How would you prepare for the inevitable? The rich man, in his wisdom and desperation, found his answer not in material wealth or earthly pleasures, but in something far more profound. He decided to die with Jesus Christ and rise again with him before death could return. As strange as it may sound, there's a wisdom in his choice. In choosing to die with Christ, the rich man was choosing to let go of his earthly life, his material possessions, his status. He was choosing to embrace a new life, a spiritual one, which death could not touch. When death returned, it found no one. The rich man was gone. He had died in Christ and was living for him and in him. He had transcended the physical and entered the spiritual. So what lessons can we glean from the rich man's story? First, death is inevitable. It's the one certainty in this uncertain world. But knowing that doesn't have to be a source of fear. Instead, it can be a reminder to live each day with purpose and intention. Second, material wealth, while comforting, is ultimately fleeting. It can't shield us from death or grant us immortality. Only spiritual wealth, the kind that comes from a deep and abiding faith, can offer such protection. Lastly, the rich man's story reminds us that it's never too late to change. Even with death knocking at his door, the rich man chose to embrace a new path, to die in Christ and live in him. He chose faith over fear, spirituality over materialism. So as we navigate the winding paths of our own lives, let us remember the rich man's story. Let us remember that death is not the end, but a transition. That material wealth is fleeting, and spiritual wealth is eternal, and that it's never too late to choose a path of faith and spirituality. This is the tale of the rich man and death, a story of fear, faith, and the power of transformation. It's a reminder to us all that in the face of death, we have the power to choose how we live and how we leave this world. And that choice, ultimately, is what defines us.